Well, all right, boys and girls. I don't know, there's no girls here yet, but we do have Bob in the house. Master joke. Bob. He's the master jokester. Here's the idea for today. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna need to get that quarter panel welded back on.
Yeah.
We need to get the license box grinded and cleaned up. I want to make the panels for the B-pillar right here. I started with the template last week. Like to get those made. I started last week on the bottom, the sill. Can't make those pieces here because their little break is only 36 inches. So I just shipped that out to another shop and they're making us a nice 43-inch piece. Sweet. Won't be in until next week. So it's gonna have to wait till after the river. Which reminds me, some of us are going to the river this week. So we'll probably bring you some footage from that. So that'll be kind of fun. And but yeah, let's get rolling. So last week I started making this. I'm just gonna make it look pretty, but I still wanted to get the structure going, so I put this flat stock in here. And I think if you can keep going on that, Matt, just adding a couple of more pieces of this flat stock in here, okay, so that we can keep tying this together and beat more. I'll go ahead and start making this for today. All right, and get this on here, but this on both sides. All right, so while Matt's welding the rest of these flat stock pieces in right now, we're gonna go ahead and make this panel. Started on it last week, got the template made, so this is gonna be for both sides back here. It'll be a nice little finishing piece, so let's get working on this.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. I think so. I like it.
So it's really important when you're grinding welds, you can't just start grinding one way or another. You know, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. So what I mean by that is, yes, you're going to be moving back and forth on the weld. That's obviously a given. There's a right way and a wrong way to grind welds, because you can grind through it and then that's, you know, a bad deal because it's going to crack after it's all painted, you know. So the welds are, you know, kind of sticking up, so you start with the hard wheel. This is the soft wheel, so this is the second stage, but you start with the hard wheel. And of course you're gonna move back and forth, but it's important how you hold the grinder moving back and forth. So if you hold the grinder this way and the wheel's cutting, or like this way, the wheel's cutting perpendicular to the line of the weld, you're endangering just riding the bumps, and then wherever it's low, it's naturally going to want to cut into the metal.
It's going to drop into the valley.
It's going to drop into the valley. It's harder to control that smooth grind. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you're holding the grinder this way, so the way that the wheel's spinning is actually in line with the weld. And what that gives you is it gives you a nice smooth transition as you're running on top of all the welds, and you're bringing it down more evenly, and you can control it. And so once you get it to, like, you know, right here, so Connor, show this right here. So once you get it to right here with the hard wheel, and you got most of it off, now you switch over to the soft wheel, and then you can get it closer to where you want to be. And so it's important, you know, on the angle of the grinder. That's the tip of the day right there, how to grind welds. If you like what we're doing here, then please consider subscribing, thumbs up, because the algorithm likes it. I don't know who the algorithm is, but apparently it likes it. So leave a comment. And thanks for following. Hey guys, Tony just sent the text. He said, sorry guys, I have to cheat on you. I will not be there today. Tony! What?
Who's he cheating on us with?
I don't know, he's working on something else.
What are you doing? What? I thought you were coming! I didn't know if I was or not. And you! That was weird.
I got a filling right here. Can you get it? What ended up happening is, obviously we removed this last week, so we're putting it back on, and of course we found out that the old fuel filler on the 49 Ford was pretty crappy the way they shaved it, you know, and it was some super thin piece of metal. It was blowing through, and it was just creating bigger mess than it was worth, so we just made a new piece and cut that whole mess out. And right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fit this piece in, and then we can tack this in nice, and I'm gonna drop it inside again accidentally because I can already feel it going. Okay, no, it didn't go. Woo! Last time it fell in and we thought, oh no, we lost it, but it actually came right out. All right, cool. So that's what we did here. So let's just keep going on it, get this thing welded in, and I would get the top somewhere. Yeah, right there. Everybody, let's look at the bright light. It burns. I'm actually debating now if I should tack these in now. I think it's going to be better to do the frame first, because that's in an absolute spot for sure. And then I could trim this and move it in and out a little bit afterwards. But if I put this in now, I might end up quartering myself in, you know, backing myself into a corner that is not going to be good. So I'm going to have to put that one on hold again. So 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So anyway, I did pick up some correct nutserts for these pieces here, which is the same as these pieces here. But now I forgot the bolts. So we can get them drilled.
No, we're figuring stuff out, brother.
So I've never used it before either, but what I'm thinking is this is the female, that's the male, and those are in those little colored little containers. So get the right size for that, so make sure you fit that. And then this will come out. I don't know how it comes out yet.
Yep.
They'll come out, replace that. This comes out, replace this. This goes back on. All right, tightens in here. You can set the depth on it, on how much you need to pull on it, you know, before it bottoms out. So go ahead and don't use one of these. Just go test on the other ones that are the wrong size anyway. Go do a couple of tests, you know, just in the air so you can see. That's the idea on that. So the 49 Ford has inner window moldings all around, and they're actually steel and they're painted. Right there, there's one of them chilling right there on the work table. And so they're still stock height and stock length. In order to get those frames to fit on the inside, I gotta mimic that chop. And I decided that I gotta jump to that right now, because as I was trying to work on these filler pieces here, I realized that in order to line up properly with this frame, it'd be better to just do the frames first. So again, you know, this is something that, you know, we've never done a car like this before. It's hard to figure out, you know, what steps next. So sometimes you just gotta pull back a little bit and work on something else in order to be able to fit it properly. So instead of, you know, building yourself into a corner. From the bottom of the window, because this goes down inside, so this is about the bottom of the window right there. So I'm gonna go from that to 5.5 inches, which is right there. 5.5 inches, and then we're gonna take 4 inches out, because that's what the chop was. So that means that we're gonna cut this much out of this, and we'll mark it with tape. And then on the back, it looks like the cut was at 3.5, so I already marked that. So that's at 3.5. And then what's gonna happen is we're gonna take 4 inches out, so check out how this thing's gonna grow. So So 3.5, I have to go to 7.5. So that's right here. So what happens is that gets cut here, that gets cut here. When it comes down, obviously it's not gonna want to match up. So that's another reason why you have to cut it shorter as well, in addition to the car being shortened even more. So that was at 2 inches from the front. So we're gonna mark that here. So we're gonna do a cut there. I'm probably gonna go ahead and do a little bit more conservative cut first so that I can take off more as I need to, but I know for a fact that the car was shortened 7 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with that 7 inches here, and that's gonna be transferred here as well. Maybe I will just tack these together with the MIG, and then I'm gonna take it and get it TIG welded by somebody.
Yeah, I'd love to do it.
Yeah,
I got no way.
It would be so nice.
I'm actually glad that we're working on this right now because this will help me figure out what we're gonna do for window rubber and what, how we're gonna mount windows and stuff. Because I kind of want to weld this in permanent, which will kind of get in the way of our window rubber. So I got to figure out how that's gonna work still. Thanks for bringing the piece. So this right here, this is why I stopped on working on this, because I didn't want to get this thing fitted. And then we got this. So what this will do for me right now is it'll allow me to establish the location of this, and then I'll come back. We'll trim this off, bring it in all together. Again, what I'm thinking is this used to be bolt in, it's not gonna be anymore. This is gonna be welded in. This will be welded in. This will all be painted. I think we're gonna do all of this. I think we're gonna do all of this to color the car, which will be white. And then, so all of this will be white. All around the surrounds, the dash will be white. And then that way the panels that we get built. All right, hang on a second, Tony. So the panels that get built, those will be gloss black. Oh my gosh, who's letting Savannah do this?
Me.
Hey, does your dad know?
He does now.
So we took this gap we had here. Savannah made us a nice template. She actually cut it and bent it and did everything. There's a nice filler piece in here, so we're gonna go ahead and tack this guy in now.
I don't know how good it is, but there it is. There it is. That's our interior trim piece, fitted now to match the chop. So now we can take it out. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep MIGging it. MIG welding is just a crude, quick, and that's what we're doing on all this car. That's pretty typical for working on something like this. But when you get the finer things, like this is a thinner metal, and you should TIG weld it. It's just a different process. But I, for one, can't TIG weld, and I also don't have the right equipment for that. So I'd have to take this to a place and have it TIG. And then another thing is, you notice that I'm welding without a shield on, and that's of course a no-no, except for doing some quick tack. You can actually hold the gun in such a way that you can stay in the shadow of the weld. And of course you have to close your eyes right when you hit that trigger. So that's what I've been doing. So FYI, don't weld without a mask on.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Am I any?
Doesn't look good, John.
Oh man.
Woo! What do we have today?
Hi, Janica.
Hi, Monica.
This is the Hungarian stuffed cabbage.
What a day, what a day. We had a bunch of guys here after all. Tony did show up in the end, so that was nice.
He helped. We got a lot done. We were able to put this back on, and we ended up redoing that old gas filler that somebody else did. Threw the wheel back on just to get a feel. Got to do a whole bunch of more welding on the inside. There was a lot of nice work done on this piece up here and the B-pillars. Got that interior frame kind of mocked in there for one of the windows, so that's good. That was something that's been on my mind, just kind of bothering me. I wanted to see what it's going to end up looking like, and it's looking really good, so I'm happy about that. Waiting for the wheel replacement to get here so we can throw the front wheel on and see what that thing looks like. Some of you guys may be following us on Instagram. Just posted the turbo that came in from Garrett Motion. Super nice. It's a G series, a G30-900. So we're waiting on some parts. Doc Race, I'm gonna let it out of the bag. We're actually partnered up with Doc Race, and we're gonna be running their top mount single turbo kit on this thing. We're also gonna run their port injected intake manifold, which is a really nice looking unit. So a lot of really cool things coming. If it's a little back and forth on the stuff, it's a little disorganized looking for you guys, that's probably because it kind of is, because we get going on something and we realize that we need to actually work on something else before we can get to that. So just bear with us. We're obviously making progress, and you know, the goal still is SEMA in November, so this thing's gonna get ramped up even more and more here, and it's gonna get crazier and crazier. So keep hanging in there, and thank you guys for following us. Appreciate it.